Okay, we're going to start with the first question. Talking about the brachos under the chuppah. So, cancel the chuppah v'lo birach brachos chatanim. So you went under the chuppah and you didn't do the Sheva Brachot. Right? Have a chuppah gemara. So do the Sheva Brachos mi'akev the nesuyin. No, it doesn't. De'ein ha brachos me'akeves. Now this idea will come up in some later points. But the brachos are not mi'akev. U'mavarach achar kamayamim. So if you remember later, you're just like a week after getting married, and you're like, oh, we forgot to do the Sheva Brachos. So then you just start making the Sheva Brachos. Then, v'lechatchila yivarech otam kodam sheyis chadimo. So lechatchila you should bless before you have the yichud. As in shoes are off. And then I'll go achshav levarech tachas chuppah, and then it's our minhag to do it under the chuppah, and that's koidem sheni chadimo. So some nafkaminas that come out of this. We see here that the bracha, again, like we were talking about Kiddushin, the bracha is not on the nesuyin. Now there are some shittas that kind of say that the brachas are on the nesuyin, and this is the Ramah. It's a whole maklokes. But you have a shaila as to whether. You see, you have the chuppah, so you have the you bless nahu achshel v'rech tachas chuppah kodem shein chadimo. So you have the Sheva Brachos under the chuppah before the nesuyin. The nesuyin will be the yichud. So therefore, there are some people, I believe some of the Hasidim, they are makpid not to have a hefsek between the yichud and the chuppah. So you have the chuppah, and then you kind of run the chatzim and the kalak go like straight into the yichud room. And the reason for that is because they don't have a hefsek between the bracha being on the nesuyin and the nesuyin itself, which would be the yichud. But we don't pashtus, we don't posken that way. And again, even if you miss it, again, if it was on the nesuyin, then a week later you're not allowed to make the bracha. Just like if you miss a bracha on a banana, you can't then start making a bracha on a banana a week later. So we don't posken that way, but there is in the a machlokas in the Rishonim as to whether you can have a hefsek between the brachas, the brachas and so on, and the chuppah or not. But we posken that again, since the brachas aren't on the nesuyin, so therefore it's okay. So we start off in this is Mesechet Katanos, Mesechet Kala. The Sheva Brachos heichen mevrachinas. This is the first time we see in a source that is actually called the Sheva Brachos, because up to now we've had the 6 brachos, and you look in the Gemara, it doesn't say anything about Brei Pri Gofen. It says the which is Geonic, that the Sheva Brachos, how do we do it? Amar Levi Brei Pri Gofen, Veshakol Bara Lechvoid Dov Yetzer Adam, etc., etc. So here we say number 1, that the Sheva Brachos includes Brei Pri Gofen, and we see that the Brei Pri Gofen comes first. So, seemingly the Sheva Brachos. Now, the question is going to be, what if you don't have wine? But there are Sheva Brachos, and Brei Pri Gofen is one of the brachos. So, if we have a look at Aleph here, which is in Siman base, Samach base in Shulchan Aruch. Zarch levarech brachos chatanim bebeis chatanim kodem nesuyin. We saw that before. The hen sheish brachos. So the Shulchan Aruch is saying that the 6 brachos here. So it's mashman the Shulchan Aruch that kind of bidi eved. If there's yayin, you bring the yayin, or lechatchila you should have it. Here we say, well, im yesham yayin, then you bring yayin. So it he doesn't seem too bothered about the whole thing, and only if there's wine there, can you bring wine in? So it's definitely a mashma from the Shulchan Aruch that yayin is not miyakev the Sheva Brachos. Let's see what the Rosh says. V'horu Rabbeinu Nisim imhu mokim she'en mutzi bo yayin yikatz atzmukim. Atzmukim is atzimukim, or it's like raisins, and then you soak them in water, and then you squeeze them out, and then you press on them. If you don't find tzimukim, then you do it on sheikhar, then you do it on beer. Shakol, you don't do a yayin, but you do shakol on the beer. V'lo sagi le'ela b'kos, and it's not enough if you don't have a kois. Now this is kind of the Rosh L'shita Soy, because the Rosh L'shita Soy, he holds that Kiddush is deraisa on a kois. He holds the Birchos Hamazon needs to be on a kois, and here he holds that the Sheva Brachos needs to be on a kois. So if you don't have a kois, you're screwed according to the Rosh. Aval berachos erusin imlo yimseh kos if you look kos shachar mevarach below kos. So that we see we have a special din by the berachos achatanim that you davka need a kos according to the Rosh. Again, we saw a wee poskin that you don't need a kos, but the Rosh is holding that you do need a kos for the Sheva Brachot. And that's what the 6 brachos according to the Rosh need a 7th. So again, the Lush on the Rambam, he's going, well, the Shulchan Aruch is going like him. Im hayesham yain mavian kois shel yain umavarach. So again, that's only if you do have a kois of yain there. But if you don't have, it, then it's okay. So then, see, v'nimsa mevarach sheva brachos. If you have the wine, you masader all of them on the kois, and then nimsa mevarach sheva brachos. So that you have the sheva brachos is when you have it on wine. Says in the Shita, because of Tamede Rabbi Yonah, V'zelashon, Brachos Chatanim Nikra, Hashisha Brachos Sheskuru Lamala. So Brachos Chatanim is a 6. V'hahomom, what would people do? They call them Sheva Brachos. Why do the people do that? Mepnei Shemoni Mechlalam Birchos Pri Hagafen. Okay, so the Tamede Rona, and they're kind of saying here that the Hamom call them Sheva Brachos. The Iker, there's 6 brachos, but the people call them 6. It's not like a halachic din of Sheva Brachos. Why are they called Sheva Brachos? They're not called Sheva Brachos. They're called 6 brachos because people are stupid. Or it's they're doing it on wine. But if you don't have wine, but still the people are calling it Sheva Brachos, but that's not a halachic nafkamin. If it came to from him law, Mברכה la akisa. So now he's going into a question, right? So why is the first bracha opening with the baruch? Because the first bracha is Brei Priya Gofen, and that should be Samach Lechaverta, and therefore the second one shouldn't open with the Baruch. So Shapik Bartep Baruch Dumia de Asher Bara Va'od Shekasav V'toisa Shekol Achas Samach Lechaverta. So see, sometimes you don't Mevarech Brei Priya Gofen. The whole fact that the Brei Priya Gofen is not part of the whole Iker of the Sheva Brachos is why the first bracha opens with a Baruch. Ve'ein oinin lebrachos perrigav haka klal umihu yeshomer the brachos akos miakev. So maklokes kamo shekatav bal toirim be'evan ezer. So the bal term is going like his father. Mikom kasha idach kasha described. So we have a kasha like we're saying in the toises. So how many koises do you need for the Sheva Brachos? So the Sheva Brachos get its own kois. So I came barov makomos bekilos. No hoigen kishamak b'shas nesuyin. So since we Mekadesh at the time where you also do the Nisuin, that's what we do. Shemabarach and Berchos Erusin Techila. V'adam Mekadeshin. So first you do the Berchos Erusin. V'az Mevarach and Berchos Nisuin. And then you do the Berchos Nisuin. That's all posture. V'hine Rabbeinu Mushlim Haya Oimer. The Berchos Erusin and Nisuin Ein Srichas Beis Koisos. So to be clear about what we do in the art scroll is that we Berei Pri Hagafen, and then the Kidushin, and then you drink, and then you we do this kasuva, which I'll have to look into. There's definitely no mention of that in the Gemara, and then we do another Berei Pri Hagafen at the beginning of the Sheva Brachos. So we do 2 koises. So here we're saying we don't need 2 koises. V'lo damo leberchas hamazon v'kiddush. If we do kiddush and berchas hamazon, like in the sugi and psachim, when you do them together, you do 2 koises. Damo rabbi psachim de trei milin. Since they're 2 things, so therefore tahatim zeh kodim suda v'zeh lachar suda. They're like 2 completely different things. So since they're 2 completely different things, they get 2 koises. But here, since it's like the same thing, Kedushin and Nesuyin is really the same thing. So therefore, you only get you only get 1 kois. Now they could just show that basically there's a maklokus as to how many koises you have. So obviously, b'di'evet, if there's a problem with one of the koises, you don't need 2 koises. So here again, he brings here. Aval Rabbeinu Tam perish tzarichin shtei koisos. So I da amar b'kasuva somer brachos erusim b'bas erusim and brachos erusim beis chatanim. So therefore, it's that we would generally do erusin and kedushin at different times. Since because of that, you would have the koisos at completely different times. So we kind of do them together. V'raglim liod zeh below zeh. So since we are noiheg to do them without each other. So therefore, it's like a minhag of a sinu toirish. So here, so this is the hagos mamayno. So he's saying, so it's a minhag of a sinu that again, because there's no source for this, right? If it's a minhag of a sinu that we have a minhag to read the kasuva between the berachos erusin and the berachos of nesuin, and then we have a hesvek between them, and therefore we need 2 koises. Right, and this is a big the v'kein henheg mori Rabbeinu Tam. So if Rabbeinu Tam says we need 2 koises, the shitas like this say we only need 1 kois, and we have this kasuva kind of stuck in the middle. But we'll see this kasuva doesn't really make any sense. So the earliest source we have of this idea of reading the kasuva is from the Mordechai. So here at the end of the Mordechai, so we have this idea of hafsaka, beinehem, between the Kidushin and the Erison. But lekros ha-kasuva, so then we read the kasuva, katzkata b'shuvas Rashi. So we kind of have the source, earlier source is being Rashi. Rashi says to do this. And then we read the kasuva to be a hefsek. And therefore we do galgafan on both of them la'achreichem to have a hefsek. And this is in start, have a hefsek kach nira la rabia. Now the question being is, how is this reading of the kasuva a hefsek? So for example, if you're having a Shabbos meal and everybody is eating your meal, and after you have your soup course, and before you move on to your next course, your kid gets up and starts having some divrei Torah. So now, do you have to say Brei Pri Hagafen again because there's a hefsek in your suda? Or if you're a kid, you say to your kid, you know what? Here's a kasuva. Just read this kasuva, and then he reads the kasuva. Is your whole meal? Is this like a hefsek? What on earth is this reading the kasuva got to do with being a hefsek? So, again, one thing I saw some people asking this question: do you really have to read the kasuva? And some of the answers are just absolutely bonkers. For example, one person said that the chassan has to understand what he's signing. Now, whether that's true or not, reading it while he's under the chuppah, just having done his Kiddushin, he ain't listening to you. He doesn't understand a word of the Aramaic anyway. And if he really needs to understand what he's getting himself into, this isn't the time to be doing it. So the reason reading the kasuva is not so that the chassan all of a sudden he's paying so much attention. He says, well, I have a kasha, do I really have to do this? That's not what's going on. It says that you have to have, you don't have to read the kasuva, you have to have a hefsek zman that's like a big gap. That's in order to, that's as long as reading the kasuva. But this doesn't make a difference. If you're, again, divrei Torah in B'toch Suda does not make a hefsek in your Suda. The idea of having a hefsek is not a hefsek. Now, Rav Auerbach first says that, for example, if you have a box of popcorn, and you make one bracha on the popcorn, it's probably a machlokas 5 ways of what the actual bracha on popcorn is, but let's say you say an adama. So you say the adama on the whole thing of the popcorn. So every kernel of popcorn in there is yotze with your hadama. Now, if you pick up one piece of popcorn and you have das just on that one piece of popcorn, and that my brei pri hadama is only on this one piece, therefore the rest of what's there is not yotze. So first eitzah is when you're making the brei pri hagafen, which is usually the Masada Kedushin. So when he's doing that, so then he has in mind not to include any other agafen, so therefore for sure any further koises he'll have to make a brei pri hagafen on. Again, that's more like his Baruch Hashem Tzricha, and it's a bit of a weak teretz. So another teretz he gives is that if you have, so for example in Yaknahaz, when you have Havdalah and you have Benshin, you can do it on the same kois. Why are you doing it on the same kois? Because they both come together at the same time. When you have 2 mitzvahs at the same time, they can get one kois. We do koises on a lot of things. Again, the Rosh is making a lot of them deraisa or a chiyuv. But in general, when we sing shira on kois, Yiso Hashem Ekrova, we raise up the cost to Hashem when we're doing good things, we're happy. So we have a kois at the time of these. So we bring koises of different things, but when 2 things come at the same time, so therefore one kois is good enough for 2. So therefore, in order that the Kidushin and the Nisuyin does not come at the same time, so therefore we create a hefsek in between. It's not a hefsek in order to reset the meal or reset your bracha, but it's a hefsek that is not 2 mitzvahs at the same time. They're not coming at different times. And really, you could kind of show a video of the chassan and kala when they were growing up or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's just that as long as the Kidushin and the Nesuyin are not both coming at the same time. Therefore, now you need to bring two koises, and that's why we have the I think it's a minhag to do the kesuva. You can have your other reasons why. Oh yeah, the chassan needs to know all these type of things, but it's really quite irrelevant. It's a minhag. It's not said anywhere. And again, Rashi would be the earliest kind of source we kind of see this idea of reading the kesuva. But the reading of the kesuva beforehand is an idea that is an idea in order to have a hefsek between just so we have two cups, a special cup, one cup for the Kidushin and one cup for the Nesuin, which raises up the two mitzvahs by themselves. Now we have two cups also for the Berachos Hamazon when we do Sheva Brachot, so the Berachos Hamazon, so we'll see if we get into any of that. So here in Sif Tes, so you don't say Zayin Brachos al Kos Berachos Hamazon. Eila, maybe this is actually for later, but here v'noigin lahasek b'neihem b'kriyas kesuva. So it's brought down in the Mordechai is brought down in the Shulchan Aruch that we read the kesuva birchas eros and birchas chatanim oimrim oto al shnei koises. The psak is two koises. If you mekadosh b'shas chuppah, even if you do it at the same time. So here in the brackets, we're trying to get out of the issue of why we're doing both at the same time. So we have here teshuva of the tashbitz, and the question really being asked is, does the mavarech im sarach mavarech ba'asmo shiyatom min hayayin achar shebarach b'rei bri hagafen? So I had so many questions as to what did we actually do in our wedding when I was going through these sources, and my wife told me to have a look at the wedding video. So a good reason to have a wedding video is you'll have no idea what the hell's going on when you're actually there, and then when you have a clearer mind and looking through the halacha, what did my Masada Kedushin do, then you can look through your video. Now, what my Masada Kedushin did is that we have the Brei Pri Hagafen for the Kedushin, which he said he drank and then he gave to us. So there, the Masada Kedushin, the Mavarech, he was tasting the brachos, the kois that was on Kidushin. And for the Sheva Brachos, somebody else came up, Mekubad came up to say the Sheva Brachos, and that person who said the Brei Pri Hagafen, he never drank from the kois. So if you can imagine that you call up, we'll have to see if you're allowed to call up more than one person. But you call up one person, you call up 7 people, you call up whatever. When you call those people up, he says Brei Pri Hagafen as part of the Sheva Brachos. Does he drink from the kois? Now, that's really the shaila which is being asked here. So the ikar idea is when they mention the Berachos Nesuyin, they say to bless 6 of them. They don't mention 7. So we're talking about the Berachos Chatanim. It says the Gemara that we're doing 6. We don't say the 7th Brachos b'shum mokum. So he calls this b'shum mokum. It's nowhere. The kevan she'ena choiva. So therefore, the fact that we see that we don't call them Sheva Brachos, but it's called 6. Therefore, it's not a choiva. Like it's Kiddush Hayom. So for Kiddush, it is a choiv. You have to say Kiddush. So den and kabirchas hanenin. So since it's the brachas, so that svara would lead you to say that it's birchas hanenin she'ein livarech otam ele hashoyte mehem. So therefore, since it's the brachas hanena, whoever is making the bracha, he would have to drink from it, as it's mentioned elsewhere. So later on in the Teshuvah, he kind of changes the svara, and then when the bracha atzma is done for the ones who are tasting it, so that in the case of the chatan and the kala, you're making the bracha for them. So your Brei Pri Hagafen is really for them, and since it's for them, so therefore it's kosher that you give them to drink from the kois, even though that they never actually made the bracha Brei Pri Hagafen. So out of tefei, that for mechinoch hakatanim, that the brachas, so hamila, so again they have the same shaila of making the brachas by mila, but bekitzer, it comes out in the halacha that the mavarech ein tzarich letom, and since the mavarech doesn't need to taste it, so therefore someone can come up and do one of Sheva Brachos Brei Pri Hagafen and not actually drink from the kois, because his Brei Pri Hagafen is for the chatan and the kala, and they will end up drinking. So just because we're at the end, Mekomokom Eina Choiva Ala Mברכה Shiyitom. Vimlo Hispek Le Temehu Liyelet Nimlo. So again, this is also talking about, but Eina Choiva Mברכה Shiyitom. Again, we see this play out. So now we get to the question as to whether you're allowed to split up the Sheva Brachos. So we had the idea before that the brachos muchas lechaverta. So just two main ways how to learn the idea of what is a brachos muchas lechaverta. Why does it not need to be open with a baruch? So we see in Rashi here in brachos veishmehem choitem velo potech, so that they have a brach at the end, they don't open. Kagon berachos hasmucha lechaverta, says Rashi. Sheharei kavar petach bebracha rishoina. So it's already opened with the beginning bracha. So therefore, a bracha hasmucha lechaverta doesn't need a bracha because it has a baruch from the previous bracha. So again, this is the bracha rishona. We patach, it opens with the bracha from the first bracha. So brachas are achronish b'kris shema emes v'yatziv emes v'amun afal pisha krishim amafsik b'neihem. Said brachas to lefnei asmucha v'havilas asmucha lechaverta. So you have emes v'yatziv opens up without a bracha, even though krishim is in the middle, because it opened up the samach lechaverta. Now in Ari Psachim, we have the same idea. Kagon brachas asmucha lechaverta sheharei poteres rishoina sheniftach b'borach. So it's the first bracha. Rashbam holds the same idea like the Rashi. Ishmehem shechontim be'ena poteach kagon brachas asmucha lechaverta sheharei poteres harishoina sheniftach b'borach. So again, to be clear here, it's the opening of the first bracha that it's getting. So the question being that this sos tasis, which bracha is it getting? The bracha, this bracha, the second bracha, or this bracha at the beginning? So you see in the Rashbam, it's clear they're saying that this bracha that opens this previous bracha is the bracha for this as well. Now if you have in the Tosfos here, chutz mi brachas hasmucha lechaverta perish leperish shetachas berishona ein tzarech levdocha shniya bebaruch ubrachas shala'achar so perish lefi shechatima berishona ein tzarech levdocha hashniya bebaruch. So Tosfos here is then saying the opposite, and he's saying that it's the chatima of the previous bracha. So that bracha there, that baruch is going on sos tasis. But Rashi and the Rashbam are going that this bracha is the bracha for sos tasis. Now, according to this svara, the chayra, you are not allowed to break up the brachas. That since here you have the brachas together, that's why it doesn't have a baruch, because this is the baruch. So since that's the baruch, you can't split them up because the baruch is there. It's all like one bracha, or even like Tosfos, this is the baruch, therefore you can't split them up. So according to that, that's the first way to understand what a bracha smuch lechaverta, why it doesn't need a baruch. It already has a baruch, so therefore you can't split them up. That's the pashtus of the first derech. So the sugya in the Gemara is talking about where the people who were working in the Beis Hamikdash, they would sometimes flip the brachas, or they would say a havarabba by itself, and a havarabba by itself doesn't have any bracha before it. So how can they say havarabba without a baruch before? Because the only reason a havarabba doesn't have the baruch is because it's samach lechaverta. So hasamach lechaverta ein bepizicha hazkeres Hashem ubechula leika malchus shekakarata below smucha lechaverta. So you don't have malchus, you don't have brachata Hashem, you don't have all those things. You just started to have a rabbah. Why? How? So heich yoytze. How are you yoytze? So now tzerach loimer. This is the other way how to understand it. Samach lechaverta. The kevan shehi smucha lechaverta sheyesh ba Hashem malchus. So it's metaken. The Rashba also says it like this in brachos. When it's metaken, when the Chazal were metaken the brachos together, is metaken with a samach lechaverta. So therefore, it has Shem Malchus when it's metaken. So therefore, even when you say it without it being samach lechaverta, since the matbeya of the bracha is that way, that is metaken, that it has a Shem Malchus. from other brachas, even when you say without those, it still has like the tzura of being, it's choshev as if it has a Shema Malchus. So based on those two ways, the simple way of understanding it would be that if you go like Tosfos and Rashi, then you can't split up the brachas, because once you split up the brachas, then you're missing the samach lechavert, you're missing the shema malchus. So there's many tshuvas on the matter, and the Har Tzvi has a tshuva on it. Again, Tzvi, he was a rabbi in the early times of Israel. Again, look up his page, his wiki page. So here is talking about a hava rabbah and yotze or. So lechatchila, for sure you shouldn't flip the order. But so the Chadushay Rashba, Mavor, so again he's going like the Kesef HaMishnah, that even lechatchila you can flip him around. So Ayin Sham in the Kesef HaMishnah, which we saw, Shehaksha deharei brachas hashniya eina b'tech brach lifnei shehismach lechaverta. Again, it's going on avarabba. That is the peticha brachas rishona nimshach gam the brachas shniya. So that the peticha of the first one is going like Rashi. So he's bringing Rashi and the Rashbam and the Tosfos is coming in to this svara. The akshav shehu kaira oitoi levada harei kol bracha she'ein ba shema malchus ein brachas. How can you call this a bracha since as it doesn't have Shema Malchus? But Tira Shekevin Shetikna Lehu Smucha Lechaverta Yesh Ba Shema Malchus after Kurta B'fnei Atzma Chashiva Yeshan Shmacham. So we saw that, but the idea being again the Shitas of Rashba that even when it's on its own, it's going to be not on the Rashba. V'cheich Mizeh Shetam Sheberchas Ahava Eina Potech B'Baruch. It's not because it's Samach Lechaverta He. The Rashba has a different reason. Eilish Sheberchas Ahava Katzara He. So the Rashba actually has a different svara as to why it doesn't have bracha, because it can't be a bracha. Because it doesn't have Shema Malchus, so it's a bracha katsara. U'brachas katsara yesh takanas below petucha per brachas ayin Shema. So that's kind of different svara. Because of Mishnah nimshach b'zeh achrei Rambam sharak b'di eved yotze im hiktim aval lechatchila tzarich la'achrei. B'mayim b'davar Rashba yirei d'may ha'chrei l'parish gam lechatchila yichol lahaktim. So if you look into the ideas of the Rashbam of the Rashba, so you should fear. Because what is this? What exactly is his chachia that you're able to be makdim lechatchila? So you can't read it lechatchila v'adam mipnei shekol bracha she'ein ba shema malchus ein bracha v'raka shehu kaira achar habracha shelifnei peticha bracha. So therefore, the poshet halacha is that you can't have this halacha. You can't have this bracha that needs the bracha before it. You can't have it on its own. So if you're doing sos tasis, since it needs the brachas before it, therefore pashas halacha is you can't do it without the lechatchila. For sure, you can't do it. Umizeh nira sheberchas chatanim ein lechalek et sheva brachas v'lekavodim l'sheva anashim yuchadim. So therefore, it appears for the sheva brachas that you can't split them up. And you cannot mekabod to 7 people, to 7 different people. So we saw this last time. We pointed out last time that the svara peshuta is that you can't break it up. So masha ein kain b'sheva brachos noisim harachti b'makam acher. So the sheva brachos I explained in makam acher later shehi mitzvah al ha noidim. And it's a mitzvah on the other people. So again, we had a v'lo lahoitzi yed choyvoi al mi shehu v'hamitzvah hi she'echad yivarech ba'asara aval lo shekol asar mechuvim lechavrek. So what exactly is the chiyuv of the bracha of the sheva brachos? And again, we saw the maklokus before between Tosfos and the Rambam. So the Tosfos is for the chas and v'kala, and the Rambam that it's on the mevarech. And again, we posted like the Tosfos in this. Eila shebe teshuvas no be Yehuda mavor ki birchas erusin. So the erusin is a choiva ala erus levarach. So the erison is different because she'acher mevarach brachos ikadei lahoitzi yitzachatan yedei chova. So there we saw that there was a maklokas as to with the berachos erison as to whether the berachos erison was a mitzvah shvach or mitzvah or on the mitzvah. So the erison could be different to the brachos of the chatan v'kala. The emes noigin the lo karambam mishum the naktit the bracha lo ramia ala chatan. The Beishmuel shkatav the tam hu shelo levayish mishum the mashma saloshin harama hu the kapichi mevarach. So because we have to understand who exactly is the bracha on, because if the bracha is on the people, so then basically you can break it up, because if it's bracha on the chatan, therefore you can't. So lo shan lemar derami ala chatan v'harama shekatav the achim mevarachayinu mishum the nakdiden lechalach kavase. So b'sof sof, as far as we said before, va'oile mikol hanal, so it comes out everything we said before, she'ein lechalak et sheva brachos chatanim lechalak sheva sanashim nefradim. So according to the Hartzvi, therefore we shouldn't be splitting up the sheva brachos and giving them to more people. So we have the shalosh shuvas of the shevet halevi. V'asher shal le'elu shemahaklam et sheva brachos. So those people who divide up the sheva brachos. The first shaila we were asking about the Brei Priya Gofen, can you give the Brei Priya Gofen to one person and then the some other to someone else? So he is Mekobezeh. But Lord, I never saw this safer. And this time I saw Bekitzer, Hine Be'eker, design brachos, I saw Gimel Minahagim. So I saw 3 minhagim of how we deal with the sheva brachos. So the first shita is that one person under the chuppah will bless all of them. A lot of the Hasidim do this, that they just give it all to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe does all of them, which just makes it easy because you're Yotzel Shitas. It's Adam Zeh or Zeh al Hakois. You do them all, and Hakois you do the sheva brachos. It's easy. Barachti base pamim etzel, and I did sheva brachos twice by the goin mi bris from the brisker rov. The hakbid, he was makbid kafim and hagim shirach adam echad kulam. So the brisker rov is makbid that one person will do them all. So that's the first minhag, that one guy does all of them. Again, as according to the Svar Peshuta, which we've seen that it's brachos mucha lechaverta, you can't break it up. Minhag sheni shemachlim sheish brachos la'alef, ubrachos achrita l'sheni. So the second minhag is that you divide up the 6 brachos go to one person, then the last bracha goes to a second person. So again, here we have that this last bracha opens up with the borach and closes with the borach, and sometimes we bless that by itself. So therefore, it opens up with the borach. So therefore, it's like it's on its own in the bracha. So therefore, you do the first 6, one person does, and then the second person does that last bracha. So sometimes you bless just the last one by itself. Minhag shlishi b'dor ha'achron v'katzas lefnei l'chalak kulam metame kavod. So this is the minhag shlishi, and this has only happened in the last generation, or a little bit before this generation. So everybody before this, they weren't doing this. They didn't have this idea. This is like a new chiddush that people today, post-war, are coming from America, and now they're giving kavodim to everybody. So the reason is because it's samach lechaverta she'ena patuch b'baruch im lechalek lechatchila. Can you divide them up lechatchila? Meker din vaday ein pogom b'bracha smucha v'yetze gam b'zeh. So you're yetze. So you did it. You're yetze. There's no. It's not that you're not yotze the brachas. You didn't posel the brachas. Have a look in Shiv Segeres Moshe. Kutzashach b'asher habrachas b'shar habrachas. V'asher kol barol lechvodo hi bracha mitchila b'baruch l'chayra ein pogam lechaluk mi pri hagafen. So that there's no problem in separating from pri hagafen. V'chazina ama davar shishi brachos rishonos b'chol ze makbidim shelo lechalek lechatchila. So he's saying here that people put these two together, this bracha and that bracha. So even if you're putting them all together, he's saying that there really shouldn't be any issue in splitting them up. But we see that people put the first bracha B'rei Gafen with the first bracha Shachol Baralach Voidai. And again, I was looking at my wedding video. That's what we did. And he's saying as far Rishona is that there's no reason to do this. But that time Yireh ki mitzvah l'seder sheish brachos ala kois koloshin nator v'shulchan Aruch. So the reason is that you're mesader the 6 brachos on the kois. So if you have one person saying Brei Priya Gafen and then someone else starting the Sheva Brachot, it looks like there's no continuation between the Brei Priya Gafen and the Sheva Brachot. V'hinu machnash chashivas brachos nusuya and teknu l'sadra malakois ke'en geder ein oimrim shira ela al hayayin. So since we don't say shira ela hayayin, Im kain davar maguna. It's not very nice to berach Brei Priya Gafen b'fnei atzmo. And then you have like a hespek mishar brachos she'az lo nikr kol kak kavonas tekanos chazal. So it's not so nicker if you just say a Brei Priya Gafen by itself. It's not so nicker that it's on the Sheva Brachos. If you say the Brei Priya Gafen, and you also say it with the first bracha, and therefore the Brei Priya Gafen is on the Sheva Brachos. So it's like you have the 6 brachos, and you're splitting up the 6 brachos to 6 different people. So therefore, to show that the Brei Priya Gafen is on the Sheva Brachos, the first one gets the Brei Priya Gafen as well. And that's, he says, also that's all the minhag, and that's the svara, and that's so. But it still comes out. So Shalom Brei Priya Gafen ava mekere halacha ein kabida kol kach b'zeh. But if you don't do that, then there's no real issue if you split up everything. Yes, a long shuva of Moshe Feinstein on this. B'kitzur, he's saying like lechatchila, or like really b'di'evid. It's not such a problem b'di'evid when you do it. I sent you some sources in the Netiga Gabai, who's a guy in America, and it says that, like for example, the Amri Emes says that you should divide them up because Barav Hadras HaMelech. I'm not so sure about that because the Roiv Am are there for the brachas, and Barav Hadras HaMelech is not really a reason to be over or do something b'di'evid for Roiv Hadras HaMelech. It's that if you have 2 mitzvahs beside each other, you should do the one that has Barav Hadras HaMelech, but to be over, I didn't see it inside, so I'm not saying this is what he's saying, but the idea, just the simple svara b'rayv hadri malach, I don't really see as a reason to override these lechatchila dinim. So b'kitzur, you can do whatever you want, and there's no pagom in them, but it seems to be, according to the poskim, that lechatchila you should have all one person doing all of them, or at least the first 6. Again, what do you do? How much of a fight are you going to have with your in-laws or whatever over this point? So here have the Ber Hativ. So Berchas Katanim ein lehem seder. So Berchas Katanim doesn't have a seder. Umisha Chasar Aleph meheina mevarach oto kashazoicher. So that's all from the Igeris Rambam. So the Rambam is saying that if you mix up the Seder of the Berchas Katanim, it doesn't matter. So if you do one before the other, it doesn't matter. If you do this one, and then you do this one, and then you do this one, so everything's good. So they're not, it's not miyakev, it's not like you have to do the whole thing again. Then he says, so you don't have to, repeat it. In birach berchas chatanim kodim berchas erusin, choyzer mevarach berchas chatanim. So this is the Sheva Brachos by itself. If you mix up the Sheva Brachos within itself, therefore there's no issue. But if you put the berchas chatanim, you do nesuyin before erusin, choyzer umevarach, that you have to do the berchas chatanim again after the berchas erusin, but the rivash nearer the ein sarach lechoizer leverach berchas chatanim. Now, there's a shaila given to Moshe Feinstein asking about Yotzer Or. Berchas Yotzer Dadim and Kavar Berach Asher Yatzar. So we go back to the brachas we have here. Yotzer HaAdam is the bracha before Asher Yatzar Adam B'Tzalmo. So in the Gemara, this bracha is saying that God made man and woman, and this bracha is saying that God made man. So if you already said that God made man and woman, and we saw in the Gemara that Levi did not say this bracha. So since Levi didn't say the bracha, if you've already said this one, maybe you don't go back and say this one. So that's basically the shaila being asked to Moshe Feinstein. So here he goes in and gives a whole reason as to the mila of the first bracha, that even though you have man and woman created, there's a mila of man being created on his own. That's kind of outside of this. V'nimsa shalahadia detam tzivi ha-simcha b'nesuyin hu b'pirirovu, so that the idea, the ikar simcha is the pirirovu of the Adam, and that's davka b'mashin never yachid shehu b'tziris rishonis. So first it comes first. Shalafizeh shayach sheyekov gam b'ruchazeh yotzer Adam. So therefore you should also, so there should be an ikov there. You also have to say that bracha. Shar b'brisa Adam yachidi, because in the yachidi the shach levarechot to af acher shabirach. So because of the mile of man coming on his own, the peruvu, and that if one man is like a whole world, that you learn from this bracha, from man being made on its own, and therefore every person that you bring into the world is that. So because of all these reasons, that there's a cheshivas to man because of this, so therefore that bracha on its own is enough, and therefore it should be miyakev. So the Iker Pesach is saying here that in Svara, even though you've said the two of them, you said the second one, you should go back and do it. So he's saying that even if you've said this, therefore even though there's a svara to say this, as he brings in the Shuvah, therefore don't say it. Again, it's coming out of the Gemara that's saying that Levi never said this bracha, at least according to Rashi. Or the Rishonim we say that it's different brachas that he missed out. So Safek bracha lahakel under the chuppah, if somebody gets it, this can be a common problem. So you really got to keep your eyes on the ball here. That whoever comes up for bracha shlishi, he says yotzer Adam. He doesn't say sher yotzer as Adam, because people can get confused. And you said the word yotzer, and the guy doesn't know what's going on, and you get these tiny little benchers, and they can't really see what it is. And then they say, oh yotzer, oh yeah, I see this here, and then they start saying this. So first thing you should be doing is getting one of those big benchers with big Sheva Brachot. It's very clear and easy for them to find and read. And secondly, don't have them say this, because you have, again, Moshe Feinstein is saying, Savik Brachot Lahakol, so don't say it. And again, this is something I don't understand for making brachos on desserts. I don't care how many shitas you have saying to say it. Savik Brachot Lahakol, what's your problem? You would know that there's always a shita to say and always a shita to say not say it. Savik Brachot Lahakol. So you can have issues where, the in-laws are fighting over that you lose a kibbud. You've just lost one because of this. Now, do you have to eat to do one of the Sheva Brachos? So there's a we're not getting into when you have pan chadoshes and you're having the Sheva Brachos at the Birchas Hamazon. So we have a shaila here by the Elef Lacha Shloimei, which is Rabbi Shlomo Kluger. So he says that he has a suffix in the Chatan that he has in Suda on the 7th day of his Sheva Brachos. The pan chadoshes. And the Suda goes until the Erev Leil Shmona. So it could be like a Tuesday, you got married on a Wednesday, and then Tuesday night you are coming into Shkia into Wednesday night. So you're into the eighth night. If you breast Brechas Chatanim B'Laila or Lo. So if we go after the Techila of the Suda or Lo. So obviously for Shabbos and these type of things, you say Ritzeh, even though you started Suda Shrishit on Shabbos, and then it's already Saturday night, when you're benching, you say Ritzeh, because you go Basar the Suda. So Shaila is the Chatanim, is there Chatanim Basar HaSuda, or it's Basar HaBirchas HaMazon? Because if it's Basar HaSuda, so you had a Suda on the 7th day, if it's Basar Birchas HaMazon, so therefore since you're doing the Birchas HaMazon at Laila, which is the 8th, so you missed it. The Ka'es Lo Metzati Giloi Ledinze, so he looked in Torah, didn't find it. Aval ledati hadavar poshet. So according to his svaris is poshet. She'ein mevorachin. So ein mevorachin means is poshet that the whole din of Sheva Brachos is going after the Birchos Hamazon, has nothing to do with the Suda. The Eina Doima for Shabbos and Yontav and Birchas Hamazon, because the Birchas Hamazon is the pas is Munach Techol. So everyone's eating the kol. Heicha she'oichel pas nechayev Birchas Hamazon. Since the ikar of the Suda is the eating of the pas, therefore once you eat the bread, you're chayev Birchas Hamazon. Im kein techav k'she'achol k'zayis v'im nechayev Birchas Hamazon. So for once you eat the food, so the betaken of the Suda mechayev in Birchas Hamazon at the end. So therefore the Birchas Hamazon will be bought boss of the Suda. B'skara b'keven she'kavar nischayev v'chazgara af she'achar kavar ba'yom. So therefore even at nighttime, achar keven she'kavar nischayev Birchas Hamazon b'zeh lo nifka michuyuv. So you don't poke the chiyuv of saying ritzei because you ate the kazayas during the day that mechayeves you in ritzei. Aval Sheva Brachot shachaltan lo chal alav chiyuv rak b'shazu she'mavarach Birchas Hamazon. So but the Sheva Brachot is only chals when you're for the Birchas Hamazon. It doesn't nothing to do with the Suda. How do we know? The hooray lo hapas goyrim kain because the pas doesn't goyrim. The pas doesn't goyrim the Sheva Brachos. Shem hayasoyed kol hayom believe panam chadoshes. Because if you had the Suda the whole day without panam chadoshes, eina chayiv levarech. Sheva Brachos gam im hayasham b'shas Suda. Panam chadoshes. Even at the time of the Suda, you had the panam chadoshes. The panam chadoshes runs away for Birchas Hamazon. You don't do Sheva Brachos at the Birchas Hamazon. In b'shachas Birchas Hamazon chalaf. Halachlo. So if he goes away, Gam Kain Einachai Levarach Rakash Yesh Penam Chadoshes Sham B'Shas Birchas Hamazon. You need a Penam Chadoshes also there at Birchas Hamazon. Chai Levarach. For Im Kain Zeh Lo Chal Alav Chiyuv Rak B'Shas Birchas Hamazon V'Lo Min Kadam. So we see that the Chiyuv it'll come in at the Birchas Hamazon stage and not beforehand. So therefore, if you have a Suda that's going on in the day and then at Birchas Hamazon, it goes on later. So therefore, it doesn't. You're not chayiv. You're not chayav because you missed it. It's all after the Birchos Hamazon. So, if the dins in the Suda or the dins in the Birchos Hamazon comes out with another nafkamina, there's many nafkaminas, but one of the nafkaminas will be you're at a wedding and you have your own table and you're done with the wedding and you want to leave. And when you're leaving, you have a zimun at your table, and you can have 10 people, you can have 20 people at your table. Do you say Sheva Brachos at your table when you're leaving? Like half an hour or 2 hours before the Chassan and Kala are doing their Birchas Hamazon. So if it's a din in Birchas Hamazon, so therefore the Chassan and Kala are not doing the Birchas Hamazon. So therefore, you would not say the Sheva Brachos. If it's a din in the Suda, so you partook of the Suda, therefore you would do the Sheva Brachos. So according to this Teshuvah, therefore you would not make Sheva Brachos at your meal because the Sheva Brachos only shaykh when the Chatan and Kala make their Birchas Hamazon, and since you're leaving early, they're not making their Birchas Hamazon, and therefore you would not partake of the Suda. So here we have Sheva Brachos. This is a question given to Shlomo Auerbach. Sheva Brachos at the time of the Suda. Yodua sheish rishonim v'gam hayu makom shenogru levarech kol hasheva Brachos shenisu l'shem simcha gam beli shom Suda. So there were people that were doing Sheva Brachos even without a Suda. Ulam minhag nikva lechalacha. So the halacha is shezeh kosher in Birchas Hamazon. So that you need to have a Suda. So people were just doing Sheva Brachos when they had a gathering, and he's saying that no, this is to do with now the minhag is Birchas Hamazon. Rak zeh mechayev et brachos. So therefore the Birchas Hamazon is only mechayev the brachos. The gam yesh machmirim lo lechavod klal bebracha lemisha hu atzmo lo achol. So if you have a panam chadashos or somebody to do this, nothing to do with panam chadashos. Panam chadashos is there. He doesn't have Lechari doesn't have to partake of the Suda because it's the din of simcha. Once him being there gives simcha to the Chatan and Kala, now you're chayiv in Sheva Brachos. That chayiv in Sheva Brachos, who can make the Sheva Brachos, he needs to have eaten. Lamaisa in Choshen Lekach in brackets. So Lachen Kemotion is kind of Ayato. So
could a Yachid make Sheva Brachos if there's a panim chadash?
What do you mean? What do you mean a Yachid? You need 10. What do you mean a Yachid? You need 10 people and a panam chadash.
Right. Okay, fine. That's okay.
Yes, so here in the Ramah, Yesharim de im hayu sham panam chadashes afal pincha ein oichel sham. Even the panam chadashes didn't eat them mevarach b'shvilam laila v'yom. So panam chadash doesn't have to. Again, it din in simcha. The panam chadash doesn't have to eat. It doesn't say that he makes the bracha. So again, in the brackets in Rav Auerbach, he said that it's not, don't kill yourself over it, but definitely lechatchila, someone who ate, he should be somebody making the Sheva Brachot. So here's in the Kehilas Yaakov, he talks about the whole din of Panam Chadashis. He says there in the Rambam and the Tosis is for the Simcha of the Chatan and Kala, and the Rambam is the people who haven't made the brachos, since you haven't made the brachos. So again, our question of if you're leaving the Suda and you're not part of the Birchos Hamazon, so it's like a chiv on you to make the Sheva Brachos. So therefore, you would make the Sheva Brachos according to the Shitas of the Rambam. It could be different if there's an overriding because there's no din of Sheva Brachos with Klal. But the Pashas is just that since the chiv is on you to make Sheva Brachos, even if the Chatan and Kala aren't involved, it's your bracha, not their bracha. Whereas Toises would be that's the simcha of them, therefore it's their bracha. Ulam kol zeh nicha le'inyan sorry. So v'yesh la'ayim in ba panam chadashis cotton she machmoisoi merabim besimcha. So you have a cotton who comes here, and it's also the same shala of a woman. Now a lot of poskim hold, like I think the Ran holds that it has to be someone who can make a minyan, and we saw in the Rav Auerbach holds that it's someone who can make a minyan. Therefore, a woman can't make a minyan. Therefore, a woman and a katan can't make panam chadashis. Here, l'chayra, the Kehilas Yaakov is done. He says the katan doesn't bring a woman. That because of the katan, then you're marbim the simcha. So you can have a katan that's marbim the simcha. Im hu nidon kepanam chadashis l'chayv in Sheva Brachos. Avenira de lefum tzad harishon. Ashinin hapanam chadashis hu misham shalo shama habrachos. So that's going to the Rambam. In kain to ha leisa panam chadashis katan, because the katan has no chiyuv to make the bracha. Therefore, the fact that katan hasn't heard the bracha before or made the bracha before is no reason to say it now, because he's not chayav. Shekatan ain't bar chiyuva b'mitzvahs. Aval inin panam chadashis hu lefi shali zeizin et varach hasimcha. It's like Tosis how we paskin etzel hamesubim v'chachatan v'kala ishlemer dezeh shayach nami b'kavan chadashis katan. So Lisa as a dina tzarachin, we're going like Toisus, and therefore a katan and a woman should be panam chadash. But the halacha coming down for this, and again Rav Auerbach says that a woman doesn't say a katan. He says a woman is not included in a panam chadash. So there is a bit of a suffix who can be the panam chadash. So this is the ritva. But not good call ha'olam. It's not good when you start off all. That's what everyone's doing. Kikim mefarkim brachas chatana besuda shemasadron to ala kois shel brachas hamazon atzmo. It's one of the kois of brachas hamazon atzmo. So that's only one kois. Aval mesechus forim mefurish mefarkim brachas hamazon al kois echad va'acher kach meviin lo kois acher. So you have two koises. V'oimer alav brachas chatanim lefi she'ein omrim shtei kedushas al kois echad. So since you can't make two kedushas on one cup, therefore you need to have two cups in order for at the end of Sheva Brachot, at the end of Birchos Hamazon. Lachanam amrin b'perach every Psachim lemisha shu oichel ein sham v'krush lav hayom kois rishim mevarach alav Birchos Hamazon sheni omer krush hayom. Mefarish taima lefi she'ein omrim shtei brachos al kois echad. So the point of having two brachas, two koises at the end of the Sheva Brachot at the end of the Birchos Hamazon, we have the two koises, is because you don't say two brachos on one cup. Because Eino, if you mitzvahs chavilas, we don't make chavilas, uprachin ala miyaknahas. Yaknahas is that you have kiddush and benching Birchos Hamazon, and we have the havdalah. We'll have it on one cup. The Lord Dami Kedusha, the Havdalah, Chad Miltahi. So saying Kaddish and Havdalah is one milta, and therefore we can put it on one cup. But the Sheva Brachos and the Birchos Hamazon, two completely different. But Birchos Hamazon, Kedusha, Trei Mili Ninhu, therefore we need two cups. V'hachinami Ikelamemor, the Birchos Hamazon, and Birchos Chatanim, Trei Mili Ninhu. And that's what the Baal Eitzer says. And it also appears, Shalo. Kain a davar nira ele shelo noiheg kain. So he starts off by saying that our minhag is davar on one cup. So it's posh pshad is that we do it on two cups. But this is in the time of the ritva ele lo noichenim veyesh letim tam leminhag. Why? So why lo tam brachas chatanim and brachas hamazon kaddish? The kaven says man ba la'achar suda v'hi gomeris or brachas chatanim ba gam kain ala suda. So the Birchos Chatanim is Because so again, if you don't have the Suda, you don't have the Birchas Chatanim. It's just that it's on the Birchas Hamazon. You had Gomeres, Gahada Milti Chashivi. So since the Suda is Goyrim, therefore it's like one man, it's like one thing, and therefore we do it. So he's given a svara as to why people are doing it. The minhag has come out the way it does. That people only use one kois for the Birchas Chatanim and the benching. But it's kasha to look at what it says in Seifrim. So here, so look at this. You see, I heard in Germany and the Ashkenaz, in France and Germany, that they do form. So the Ritva is getting a bit upset for the Minhag Sephardim because they're not doing it right. But I heard over there, over the hills, that they're doing it correctly in the Ashkenazim. ולפי מנהגנו יש מרביסנו בעלי תוספות אומרים שאין לו מברכה גפן אלא לאחר גמר ברכות חתנים. So again, so we have in here we have the Brei Gafan comes before the Sheva Brachot. If you look up your article Seder, it will put the Brei Gafan at the end of the Sheva Brachot. So we flip this Brei Gafan to the end when we do it at the Suda, but it goes first when we do it on the brachos. Now the pashtus is that you do it first. So for example, we do kiddush ala kois, and we do Brei Gafan, and then we do kiddush. So again, it's a bit confusing if you don't understand how kiddush is made. But vayhi voker is not part of kiddush. So they're just psukim we say before kiddush. Kiddush starts Brei Gafan, and then we do mekadosh hashabat is kiddush. So if we do the Brei Gafan first, whenever you do something on a kois, you say the kois first, and then we do the bracha or whatever. So therefore, really, for the Suda, we should also be doing Brei Gafan first, and then having the Sheva Brachos there. And one of the reasons that we say that we don't do it that way, it's in some of the Mephoshim I sent, that the reason we don't do it this way is because we want to make it clear that the Brei Gafan is on the Sheva Brachos and it's not on Birchos Hamazon. Because if we say Brei Gafan straight after Birchos Hamazon, it appears that the Birchos Hamazon is getting the Brei Gafan, not the Sheva Brachos. And there's a Shuvah Moshe Feinstein, don't know if I sent it to you, that because basically the big machlokas is to whether Birchos Hamazon needs a kois or not. So like the Rosh holds that it does need a kois, and basically everyone else holds it doesn't need a kois. So there's a chumrah to have a kois on every Birchos Hamazon, at least with the zimun. It'll only be a chumrah to hold like the shitas, but most people don't do that. And so therefore, when we bring the cup, it then becomes a chiyuv. This is interesting. So if you forget the rosh, so according to us, we don't have a chiyuv of a kois and Birchos Hamazon, even if we have one. It's not a chiyuv. But we have a chiyuv for the kois for the Chatan Vakala. So since we have a chiyuv for the kois Chatan Vakala, the kois is coming for the Chatan Vakala, not for benching. Even though there is a kois for benching, it's not for benching because there's no chiyuv in that. And therefore, we put the Brei Gafan at the end in order to show that it's on the Sheva Brachos, that it's not on the Birchos Hamazon. That's basically his teshuva there. So here he's saying that ein lo loimer Brei Gafan ela achar gamer berberchach satanim. That's what we did. B'chol brachos hamazon Brei Gafan b'sofo. V'achirim kosev zehu ha'eker ki samach leberchos hamazon amar Brei Gafan. So that close to berchos hamazon you say Brei Gafan kedino. So therefore there are minhagim. There is a sheet to hold. Again, completely opposite to what we do. That you do it just like this. That you do Brei Gafan and then we do these as well. So that's the posh percent. Now again, a reason to do that would be like the rosh, that it's a chov. So umesader alav berchos chatanim. Brei Gafan olelo lekanu leklan. So Brei Gafan at the beginning of the Sheva Brachos goes here and it goes here. V'lo chashiv berchos chatanim asafik lebrachos hanenin. So you say Brei Gafan. You don't drink from the cup, and then you say Birchos Chatanim. It's not a hefsek to the Birchos Hanenim. Kevin to kulum ein hakos. So on the kos havelek kiakne has. V'zeu v'alei ha'ikr. So the Ritva is saying that the ikr is to do after the meal. You do the Brei Gafan first. But obviously, Archwell doesn't go that way. And I'm going to explain the reason why we don't do it that way. Now, there's an interesting point that's come out here in the. Again, this is Rav Auerbach There's a question talking about what do you do when Sheva Brachot comes out on the Leil HaSeder. So katav Dr. Moshe, kashetzarich levarach Sheva Brachos b'Leil HaSeder yivarach brachos hamazon al kos shelo v'zayin brachos al kos shel achata. So mevarach brepri agafen al kos brachos hamazon shelo v'shuv mevarach Sheva Brachos mamish hayinu gam brepri agafen u'brachos zu shebrepri agafen al kos shel achata hu kadesh lahotzi es achatan brachos brepri agafen ad kan l'shoin. So basically what happens at the Seder is that you have your Suda, and then the third cup, for the third cup, you do your Brei Hagafen, and then you do even another one on his Brei Hagafen. Basically, you're doing the Brei Hagafen of the third cup. So therefore he says, he's saying Brei Hagafen twice. It goes through in the Teshuvah, the svars of this, but the thing that comes out of it is that there's another eitzah to do the Sheva Brachos, and that's just, for example, just number one, just B'tocha Suda, just break out the Sheva Brachos B'tocha Suda. Why are we waiting until the third cup in order to do it? Because we get into a problem that the third cup, we can't add cups after the third cup. We can't add cups, so therefore that's why we have an issue with the Chatan's cup. So he can't be in your cup. He has his cup is the third cup. We have like two cups, and the third cup of his and yours. But we're not adding to nobody has an extra cup. So we could get out of that problem by just having a B'tocha Suda, and you can drink wine during the Suda. So have a cup of wine, do the Sheva Brachos B'tocha Suda, and then you get rid of all these problems. The fact that we don't have that eitzah is because you can't just have Birchos Hamazon. Sorry, you can't just have a Sheva Brachos B'tocha Suda. It's davka on the Birchos Hamazon, and therefore the fact that it has to be davka on Birchos Hamazon, so therefore we have that the Sheva Brachos then has to be the third cup, because it's not going to work any other way. Okay, so we saw this Taz al Beis Koisos, so that we have the Krisa HaKasuva. So v'kasav b'derisha midachakla menicho lefanav u'mavin lo kois acher. So that you have a second kois. Then when the ein sarach lahavi base koisos yach, you don't have to bring the two koises at the same time, like we do. And it's also poshet the ein mevarachim davei chaser ela al kois berachos hamazon. Now this is a point which is coming into when you're doing the berachos hamazon, that you say davei chaser. Davei chaser is basically what you say before Rabbi Sani Varech. In the Zimun itself, you say Davei Chaser. So here the Taz is saying that the Davei Chaser is on a kois of Berchos Hamazon, but that kois is coming for the Chatan V'Kala. So if we're going to have two koises, we need one kois already kind of filled for Berchos Hamazon, because we're doing the Berchos Hamazon now. But we also need a second kois already filled for Davei Chaser, which is the Birchos Hamazon, which is at the beginning, and we haven't really started Birchos Hamazon yet, because the Sheva Brachos is coming at the end. So there's a sort of pshuta where you do Birchos Hamazon on a kois, then now you're doing the Sheva Brachos. Birchos Hamazon is finished, and therefore you have the Sheva Brachos. You're doing the Sheva Brachos. Now you come and you pour a second cup. So there's like a maklokas as to when you actually pour the cup. So some people pour the cup beforehand, some people pour the cup after Birchos Hamazon, some people pour half a cup, which is like your yotze, neither of them. But when you do Davei Chaser, the Taz is saying that you should have the kois already there to do the Davei Chaser, because ein bo bracha the shach loimer she'ein oisem mitzvahs chavilas. So that you don't want to put the two together, because chavilas is that you're putting them all onto one cup. So v'nirli lehebach b'tarti mil ilu daha ein menhagul loimer dachaser ela k'she'omrim Sheva Brachos. So we have this thing of a Shebarach. We don't do that today. We do the Shebarach, but we do the Davei Chaser. So since kind of the Davei Chaser is only said at the Berchos Chatanim, it's like a chelak of the Berchos Chatanim. So therefore, you have to bring two cups. So of course, because the Chershe Sam lo havi minhag b'rimus Davei Chaser ki einu rak piot echod. Al kain ein tzarich lavi beis koisus biyachad mishing benenu she'oimrim devei chaser. But us, since we do say devei chaser, b'shvil zayim chas al kain yesh lahavi biyachid, you bring both cups at the same time and say devei chaser al koisa achas. That is miyachad l'shayin l'sheva brachos. And then after the veichaser, you put it down and you take the koisa berachas amazon, and afterwards you chayzer and you noitel the sheva brachos. That's the right way to do it. So since you have the veichaser, which is a chelik of the sheva brachos, therefore you do the two koises there, and then you have one kois on the veichaser, one kois on the berachas amazon, and therefore you do it at the end. You go back to the sheva brachos one, but when you don't say the veichaser, I think on Shabbos or something, or when you don't have when you don't have panach you don't do it anyway. So then that's Sim 1, the main idea. Some people then will just bring the kois at the end. They don't care about the veichaser. And then you have the idea of a half a cup is kind of a halfway house between the two, which is, again, the pashut way of learning that is that you're yotze neither of them. So when it comes to birchas hamon afterwards, there's the Indian of having two cups, and then if you have half a cup, so then you'll mix the two cups together, because then you have the birchas hamon cup and the but you can just follow with this. But it's not really so important how you kind of work it out afterwards. But Kitzer, one cup is on Berachos Hamazon and one cup is on the Sheva Brachos.